The scene opens and bold white words, "Innovate Trust presents," appears. The next shot is of an electric plug. Then the screen starts to fill with flames and the words, "An Innovate Media Film," appears. The words in bold red and yellow, "Fire Prevention, Be Safe at Home," appear. The screen fills with flames again. The scene then goes back to the plug and the camera follows the electric lead slowly. The actors' names appear on the screen as the camera follows the lead. Joe Barnett, Ben Lewis, David Pratt, Farah Massoud and Bernadine Stevens. The camera continues to follow the cable to a hairdryer, which is being used by Jo, a young woman in her mid-20s, with shoulder-length blonde hair. She's sitting in her bedroom in front of a mirror and blow-drying her hair. As the phone rings, Jo gets up from the chair, throws the hairdryer onto the bed, then throws a towel on top, covering the hairdryer. Smoke starts to appear through the towel. A timer appears in the right-hand corner of the screen, counting in real time how long it takes for the flames to appear. After 8 seconds, flames appear on the bed. The words 10% of household fires occur in the bedroom appear on the screen, and the bedroom becomes engulfed in flames. The clock changes to 1 minute 04 seconds, and the entire bed is now a ball of flames. Flames are leaping up to the ceiling, debris is falling down, cuddly toys on the left side of the bed are in flames, the lampshade is completely destroyed. At 1 minute 54 seconds, the entire room is ablaze. Black smoke is filling the room, and at 2 minutes 17 seconds, the whole room has become an inferno.
A working smoke alarm will save your life.
The remains of the burnt-out bedroom appear.
It only takes 2.5 minutes for fire to kill. It takes from 5 to 10 minutes for firefighters to respond to a call. Be aware and careful of hairdryers and straighteners. They are still hot after you use them. Turn off any electrical equipment that is unattended.
The words, "Many fires that result in death start in the bedroom," appears on the screen. The words, "How to evacuate your home," appear in bold font on a black background. The scene shows a young woman, Wendell, sitting at a computer typing. The alarm sounds. She gets up, leaves the room and calls to all the residents.
Okay, that's it guys, quickly and calmly.
If there's a fire, don't panic. Evacuate the building safely. Know your meeting points and wait for the fire service to arrive. Never go back into the house until you're told it's safe by the fire service.
The words, "Regular fire drills are important. Have an escape plan," appear on the screen. 7 people, residents and staff, all exit the house through the front door and walk calmly to the end of the street. They congregate at the corner, and a resident in a wheelchair and a member of staff appear from the back of the house to join them. The words, "Remember, get out, get the fire service out, stay out," appear on the screen. the words "what to do if your clothes catch fire" appear, and the words then appear "if your clothes catch fire, stop, don't run. This will only make the fire worse. If your clothes catch fire, drop, get down on the floor. If your clothes catch fire, roll. This will put the flames out." Ben demonstrates this procedure. He drops to the floor and rolls back and forth on the carpet. Dave appears, throws a towel on him, and starts to pat his back gently to smother the flames. Remember, if your clothes catch fire, stop, drop, roll. The words "what to do if trapped by fire" appear on a black background.
If you find yourself trapped inside a room during a fire, get to the door and touch it with the back of your hand, only for a moment, as it may be hot. If it is, do not open it. Call 999 immediately. Then try and seal the room. This will give you more time. You can do this by putting towels, blankets, or anything you can find at the bottom of the door, just like I'm doing here. If you're able to soak them first, that will also help.
On a smoky background, the words "use curtains, towels, blankets to stop smoke from coming in" appear on the screen.
If your escape route is blocked, do what Ben does next.
Help.
Ben pulls a small bedside cabinet to the window, stands on it, opens the top of the window and shouts to David, who is standing on the pavement below. The words "when trapped, open a window and shout for help, dial 999" appear on the screen. The words "emergency, call dial 999" appear on a black background. The scene now changes to the emergency control room, where an operator is taking a call.
66 Hamilton Street. Is that Pontcannon in Cardiff? Okay. Yeah, is the postcode CF11 9BQ? Okay. Can you get out of the property? You can't, can you? Okay, why can't you get out of the property? You're stuck in the upstairs bedroom, are you? Okay, where is the fire? And it's on the landing, is it? Okay, if you just want to close the door to the bedroom for me. Yeah, and then go and open a window. Yeah, and try and stay close to the floor. Have you done that? Okay, what's your name? Hi David, my name's Chris and I'm going to stay on the line to you now until the crews arrive, okay? Okay, where in relation to the stairs is the bedroom? It's at the front of the house, is it? Would it be easier for us to come to the front or the back of the house? Okay, if you just make sure you stay close to the floor, yeah, and keep the windows open and we'll be there as soon as we can, okay?
The words "Ben interviews the control room operator" appear on a black
What's the
background.
best advice for the fire service for emergency calls?
The best advice I could give for someone who's making a fire call would possibly be spend a few seconds, but obviously not too long, trying to find out the address. If you're not sure of where you are, is to find out the address and where you are before passing the call, because it can save valuable seconds in us dealing with the incident.
Okay, and when it comes to hoax calls, they can be more of a nuisance than anything else.
Yeah, absolutely. When people pass hoax calls, it doesn't just mean that we're not available to deal with that incident. It means that someone who's really needing a fire engine would not be available to attend because we're actually attending an incident that's not a real incident.
What would you do if someone was reporting a fire from outside the house?
The best advice I could give was certainly not to go back into the house or to go in the first instance, because it's more important that the person who was passing the call for them to stay outside to give us as much information as we need to actually deal with the fire.
Okay, and when that happens, always stand well clear and let the experts deal with it. What advice would you give if someone's trapped inside a house and there's smoke coming from the building?
If someone's trapped in a house, the best advice we can give is if they cannot get out, and that's the first option, is to try and get out of the house. But if they're definitely stuck, the best advice I would give is to stay low to the floor because smoke rises. Open a window to let fresh air inside the house, and if you've got any towels or bed linen, to block the doors to stop the smoke coming into the room.
And always open a window as well and call for help as well.
The important thing to remember when you're reporting a fire is to keep calm, to pass as much information as possible, because we'll be there as quick as we can, and usually, and more often than not, we'll be there quick enough to stop anybody from getting severely harmed.
Drinking and smoking in the house appear in red letters on a plain black background. Ben is relaxing, lying out on the settee, drinking a can of lager. He lights a cigarette, and the words 10% of household fires occur in the living room appear on the screen. Ben falls asleep with the cigarette in his hand. It falls to the floor onto the carpet. Smoke starts to appear. The words "smoking and drinking can kill" appear on the screen. The words "when cooking at home" appear on the screen, and the picture of a gas cooker with the flames lit appears on the screen. The scene shows a kitchen with a frying pan with bacon frying in it. Jo, the young woman, is cooking. The phone goes and she leaves the kitchen whilst talking on the phone.
67%? That's an awful lot of fires. The kitchen is the single most dangerous place in your home. So never leave any cooking after you've started. If you are called away from the cooker by the phone or someone at the door, always take the pan off the heat.
On a smoky background, the words "don't leave the cooker on when you are not there" appear on the screen. In bold red letters, "electricity awareness at home" appears on the screen on a black background.
Don't overload any adapter or socket.
The scene shows an overloaded adapter in the socket. A hand appears, switches it off, and unplugs the adapter.
We use electricity every day, so don't take it for granted.
The following scenes show Farah going around her home, switching off and unplugging.
And remember to turn off any electrical equipment you are not using. Switch off and unplug. This is especially important at night when fires can spread quickly while you sleep. We all need to take more care. Switch off and unplug.
With smoke in the background, the words "don't overload," "switch off" and "unplug" appear on the screen. The words "David interviews the Central Station Commander" appear in white bold font on a plain black background.
So Paul, how many fires do you deal with in Cardiff every year?
Well, we're today situated, as you said, in Adam Street, which is the busiest station in Cardiff, and dealing with thousands of fires every year in Cardiff.
What about nationally in Wales?
Nationally then, because you're looking at, there's 3 brigades in Wales, You can multiply that by a factor 10. We've got tens of thousands of calls we deal with nationally in Wales.
What are the main causes of fire?
The main causes of fire are probably, I would say, careless disposal of smoke material, people leaving cooking unattended, and we used to have a big problem with chip pans. Once again, people leaving chip pans unattended, however they're on the decrease.
Why are chip pan fires on decrease?
Well, hopefully the 3 brigades in Wales are working on a policy that when they carry out their home safety checks, if people we consider at risk are using chip pans, then we replace them with deep fat fryers, and that reduces the risk considerably.
What should I do if a fire breaks out?
The most important thing if a fire breaks out is not to panic. The most important thing after not panicking is to make sure everybody that aware there's a fire and everybody can evacuate the building safely.
What should I do if I'm cut off by fire?
Again, it comes back to ensuring that you don't panic. The most important thing is getting everybody, if they're with you, into one room. Making sure if there's access to a phone, you phone the fire brigade as soon as possible to give them warning, stating your name, the address and where you are, and if you can, what's on fire. If you feel the fire is developing, then it's important to make sure you go to any openable window and shout for help. If the fire is increasing and you can feel smoke coming into the room, then anything you can to prevent the ingress of smoke into the room, using blankets or sheets or clothing to stop the fire entering or the smoke entering into the room.
What should I do if my clothes catch fire?
This is very important. Again, the most important thing when we're thinking of your personal safety in fire is not to panic. What we advise people to do is to stop what you're doing, or drop to the floor and roll, and that way then you're helping to smother the fire and stop it causing you any more serious harm.
Finally, what are your top safety tips to prevent fires?
Top safety tips to prevent fire is always remain vigilant. Make sure you're aware of what you're doing all the time. Think fire safe. Don't leave candles unattended. Make sure you switch off any electrical apparatus that doesn't need to be on. But most importantly is be fire conscious and be fire safe. Don't take any risks with fire. Also, we got to be careful with people with smoking. Make sure you dispose of your cigarettes safely, and if you're tired or you're under the influence, you've had a drink, make sure you don't smoke. We have numerous occasions when people have had a cigarette and fallen asleep when they're tired or when they've had a drink, and that can cause obviously very serious problems. Another important safety tip, which is very, very important, and it would be a remiss of me to not to mention, is you never ever return to the scene of a fire, whether it's your property, until you're told it's safe to by the fire service.
Station Commander Briscombe, thank you for your help.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you. If you don't have a working smoke alarm or need further advice, contact the fire service on this number: 0800 169 1234.
The credits appear on the screen in a bold white font on a plain background. Cast: Joe Barnett, Ben Lewis, David Pratt, Farah Massoud, Bernadine Stevens. Voiceover: David Pratt. Produced in partnership with South Wales Fire and Rescue Service. South Wales Fire and Rescue Team Advisors: Ken Ralph, Community Safety Partnerships Manager; Des Mason, Education Services Manager; Chris Allen, Control Room Operator; Paul Briscombe, Central Station Commander; Adrian Bell, Katie Davis, Community Safety Education Advisors. Produced by Innovate Trust Participation and Media Team. Innovate Trust Team: Steve Williams, Lisa Applewhite, Nico Bergui, Jonathan Lee. BSL InVision Interpreter: Jamie Rees-Martin, National Deaf Children's Society. BSL advice and audio description, Susan Williams, RSLI, BSL English interpreter. Audio description advisor, Julie Thomas, Bridgend Coalition for Disabled People. Welsh translation, Jessica Rumble. Innovate Trust Health and Safety Advisor, Martin Williams. Directed by Steve Williams and Nico Bergui. Script, Joe Barnett, Ben Lewis, David Pratt, Steve Williams, Nico Bergui. Edited by Nico Bergui. Editing assistants, Steve Williams, Beth Hawkins. Cameras, Nico Bergui, Steve Williams, Beth Hawkins, David Pratt, Ben Lewis. Music, www.freesound.org, www.freesfx.co.uk. Special thanks to Nick French, Innovate Trust Chief Executive, Ron Woods, Innovate Trust Community Services Director, Wendell Cavalla, Manager of Respite Services. Thank you to everyone involved in the making of this film. The Innovate Trust logo appears. The South Wales Fire and Rescue Service logo in English and Welsh appears. An Innovate Media film in bold white print on a plain black background appears.